What's up YouTube, it's your boy Grassy TV coming at you with another video for Hero Siege 2. While out exploring and killing monsters, you may have dropped a rainbow colored looking key called a Bifrost Key. The Bifrost Key is new to this season and it is very powerful. It gives you access to several different zones, some of them being only accessible through this key and some of them being maybe some uber fights are very annoying to get to, but you can bypass having to do a lot of the steps through using this key. Today I'm going to show you all of these zones that you can get from this key, as well as some efficient ways that you can use this key to make some money or to help out some of your friends if you're playing in multiplayer. Without further ado, let's get started. First things first, here's what the Bifrost Key actually looks like. It has a bunch of flames swirling around it that are in this rainbow color. It looks really cool. This has the same icon whenever it drops on the ground. So you'll see a big flaming key on the ground. You just walk over it or have your pet pick it up. Once you have this key, you'll make your way to the astral encampment, walk all the way up here to the top right, and you'll see that there's this keyhole right here. You can actually click on it and use your Bifrost Key. Now you can see that there's a path that opens up here to go into the Bifrost. Continue moving up where you'll find Heimdall, the guardian of the Bifrost. Now when you speak to Heimdall, he's going to offer you some different options to go to. I can go to a random uber boss or I can open up a chaos tower. This will change for every single Bifrost Key. You will get two different options every single time, leaving you a choice to choose between what you think is going to be the best content for you to do at that time. For me, I'm going to go ahead and click on Uber Boss because it's probably the fastest to do. Once you've made your selection, you'll just make your way up to this area here and click the F key or whatever key you have, and you'll be teleported into a random boss. Once you've completed that Uber Boss fight, that's it. That's the Bifrost Key. At that point, you're now able to vote reset and you can actually go and pop another Bifrost Key in. First up, we have a challenge dungeon. This will take you to a random key dungeon in the game. It can actually be a 1 to 16 key dungeon, so make sure you pay attention to your XP bar. If you're getting a ton of XP, you actually might be in a higher key. If you're in hardcore, this can be a little bit scary because you don't know how many keys are being used until you start the fights and then realize, wait, this is much harder than I thought. But it is cool that you can get a 16 key dungeon out of this. Also, if you're hunting for glyphs, this is where you get glyphs at. This is also where you get experience for your glyphs to help level them up in the Altar of Incarnation. So you may want to click a challenge dungeon for those reasons. Next, we have Niflheim. Niflheim is going to drop a ton of runes. It is the best place in the game to drop high runes. It has the best drop rates for high runes of anywhere else in the game. So you see as I kill monsters here, there's going to be runes that pop up everywhere. For this video, I'm not going to go through the whole zone, but this is a fairly big zone, so you want to full clear this one out. There is a ton of runes in this. Next, we have the Mist of Chaos. This zone just has a ton of chaos shrines in here that are completely random. So you may run into one. This one gave us a bunch of dimensional shards. There's definitely some in here that can give you high runes if you're looking for high runes. So you'll just run through this zone, click all the shrines, kill any monsters. Next, we have Shiponia. I'll be honest, Shiponia is kind of a blah option. It's okay early if you're trying to get some XP, but otherwise, generally you don't even run this zone. Next is the Ruby Garden. This zone was a little bit nerfed this season. However, it is still very strong. What makes this zone have potential are these ruby chests that you get around the zone. You can walk over these and these can have a ton of items that pop out of them. It is random how many of these that you get every time you go into the Ruby Gardens, but again, they potentially can be very good. So you just run around the zone, find all the ruby chests, pop them, and pray. Next, we have the Angelic Realm. This simply takes you into the Angelic Realm for free. If you're not sure how the Angelic Realm works or how Angelic Keys work, I do have a video on my channel talking all about augments. However, you would simply just have the two options, whether you want to upgrade or add a new augment. Next, we have Asgard. Asgard has a few quirks to it. The first thing you'll notice is that there's a ton of different shrines in here. So you may run into a lot of Gamba shrines in this zone, as well as there's a ton of ore that you can mine in this zone. So that this could be a very good potential place for you to find Terethium ore to mine to get those cores to make your gems with. Another big part to Asgard is you will always have these 5 chests that you can walk over and they can potentially have some crazy loot in them. They usually always drop some satanic sets for me or some S tier satanics. I have had heroic drops out of these and they're very good. And just to show you where those chests are, at the very end of the map, you'll see that there's 1, 2. Just north of that, you'll see that there's 3. And then just north of that, there's 1 on the right. And then 1 over here on the left. Next, we have an Uber Boss. This simply takes you to any random Uber Boss in the game, outside of Luna and Uber Gabriel. Next, and my favorite one, is Vanaheim. Once in Vanaheim, you will clear out the zone. There is a couple of chests over here to the right that you can open up that can have a lot of juice in them. You'll kill all the monsters and make your way north here. You'll find Luna up here. You'll simply talk to her. Luna's going to look into your future and tell you exactly what item you're going to drop. For me, I got Spell Weavers. The way that this works is you'll see over here on the right that you have a new quest that you can hover over. It will tell you the item that you were destined to get, as well as how many enemies that you have to kill for this quest. For me, my random number was 72,315. I believe this goes between 50,000 and 100,000 enemies. Once you have done all of that, there will be a golden portal that opens up. Once you have killed your exact amount of monsters, wherever you're at in the game, a golden portal will show up that you can go into to fight the prophet Luna. Once you kill Luna, she will drop this item, plus she has her own drop table. The chance of you getting items from her drop table increases with hell difficulty. So if you do it on hell 5, you have a better chance of getting some of her items than you do on hell 1. Obviously, the fight is much harder on hell 5. As a side note, if you do not complete this fight going through that golden portal, if you die in that fight or if you leave the instance, you will have to run Bifrost Keys again until you get Vanaheim, or have somebody port you in their Vanaheim in order to fight Luna again and kill her. You will not complete this quest completely until you kill Luna. Now, another option that you have here, maybe your fortune was bad. Maybe you're like, yo, I don't want to get this item. Okay, you can give me something else. You can actually go over here and right click on this. Where it shows the quest, you'll see an X here. If you click on that X, it will actually get rid of your quest. Now you will have to go get Vanaheim again. Now you have the option to get a better reward if we weren't happy with the prophecy that you were given. And lastly is the Chaos Tower. This will simply just put you in a Chaos Tower at whatever level that you're currently at with your Chaos Towers. Really cool. Because you're presented with 2 options every time that you use a Bifrost Key, you're going to have to make some decisions on which one you actually want to go in. So for me, this is how I categorize them. Mist of Chaos, Niflheim, the Ruby Garden, and Shaponia are all really within their own realm. They're all their own tier, and they're of the lowest tier, meaning they're the least exciting to get. They do have their own purpose. For example, if you get Niflheim and it's closer to the start of the season, or maybe you're hunting for a high rune, you're in SSF Odyssey, you're trying to hunt for that high rune, getting Niflheim is actually pretty exciting. But once you get more into the end game and you're more built, getting another high rune isn't going to be that big of a deal. Same goes for Mist of Chaos. It can be really strong early, getting some of those goblins or getting maybe high runes out of it. But once you get farther into the game, it starts becoming less exciting just because the chance of you hitting like a really good item out of it gets slimmer and slimmer. Then I would rank the Angelic realm and challenge dungeons kind of in their own utility class or one tier higher because they serve an actual purpose. What's really good about the Angelic realm is if you get that, you can actually bring people in with you. The way that this works is I will make my way to the Bifrost, I'll use my key and go in. And say one of my options here is the Angelic realm. From here, you can actually call your friends in and say, hey guys, I've got an Angelic realm. They do have to pay their own Bifrost key, but paying a Bifrost key is much cheaper than paying an Angelic key, allowing them to get their augments or upgrade current augments for much cheaper than they would have buying each key. This same rule applies to every zone, by the way. So say you got Niflheim, you want to bring all the boys in for a Niflheim, you're more than welcome to do that. Challenge dungeons also serve in their own purpose of trying to get glyphs. So again, if it's closer to the start of the season, you're still hunting glyphs or you're trying to get higher quality glyphs, you can also bring the boys in. You guys can fly through a challenge dungeon trying to drop glyphs for everybody, or maybe use the guys to target farm one for yourself. And the highest tier would be Vanaheim, Uber Bosses, and Chaos Towers. These 3 are very strong to get in the Bifrost. Vanaheim, obviously for good reason, we're trying to always have a prophecy on. That way we're dropping the item and having the chance to kill Luna to get some of her drop table, which is very strong. All of her items are very expensive and they're very fun. Uber Boss is very good because it can take you to pretty much any Uber Boss outside of Luna and Gabriel. So maybe you run into Damien. Damien may drop you a really good Sash of Eternal Hatred. But what's really strong about this is you can actually still get the souls too. So you could use Uber Boss through the Bifrost in order to drop the souls to go fight Uber Gabriel. So instead of having to go through the process of getting each map for Uber Damien, which takes a ton of time, then go fight Uber Damien and pray for your key, you can skip all of that by just getting him through a Bifrost key. So you can actually get to Uber Gabriel through Bifrost keys without ever having to do an Eternal Battlefields, the Shadow Realm, or kill an Act Boss. That is really strong. And lastly, Chaos Tower. Chaos Tower takes, unfortunately, a long time. You have to go all the way through the Chaos Tower without dying to get to King Rakul. However, if you get to King Rakul, some of his items are very, very expensive. If you get his belt, it's very expensive. If you get a high roll of his amulet, it's very expensive. We're talking like 100 mil plus. They are very, very good items, and for good reason, because you have to get through that content. It does get harder now as it scales with difficulty, but it is worth the payoff. And being able to use Bifrost keys to run into Chaos Towers constantly without having to go through zones finding Chaos Towers is also very, very strong. And that's going to wrap up this video. Be sure to leave a comment below letting me know what your favorite zone is. If you enjoy Hero Siege 2 content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all my future videos. And if you found this video helpful, hit that like button as it does help me a ton. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.